everybody, and welcome to the very first episode of A Date with Destiny. I'm actually very nervous right now because I'm still learning my voice and just trying to get used to talking to a camera and just like talking in an empty room, even though nobody's around. Like, there's people in the room outside of me, and I'm a little scared, but I can't be scared because I'm gonna post this online for people to see. So, who cares if a few people in the library hear me talk? I got some good stuff to say. If they hear me, maybe they'll benefit from it. Who knows? I hope you guys like my little setup, and maybe you'll look back on it one day and you'll be like, this girl, she really did that. Honestly, I've really been overthinking this podcast for I don't even know how long. Too long. Like, you know how people will say that you have a lot of ideas and you need to just unload the clip of ideas? That was me. They were just sitting in my pocket, just waiting because I was afraid. And people, when you're afraid, you don't get anything done. So you got to be a little bit scared so that way you can move through life and get to where you want to be. And lately, I just kind of been reflecting on something that's really changed just like my journey overall and the way I view discipline and even just the way that I view myself. And I hope that this little reflection can help somebody too. Yeah, for a lot of my life, I only knew how to get myself somewhere through shame. Like, I guess the biggest thing I can think of is my weight loss journey because I used to be almost damn near 300 pounds and I'm not 300 pounds anymore, but a lot of that whole journey and why I felt like things weren't changing in the beginning and I always had all these plateaus, that was because I was doing things and trying to create change out of shame and just trying to make a change for yourself because you don't like something about yourself. But you should want to change yourself because you know you deserve everything in life and you have to know that you can do those things because you deserve them, not because you hate XYZ about yourself, so you have to change them. And I am the biggest culprit of this because I genuinely thought my whole entire life that I had to change something about myself, that there was always something to fix and there was always something wrong. And I just felt like the harder I was on myself and the more pressure that I put on myself, then the more motivated that I was going to be to get these things done. And that was really not the case. I guess I was trying to just control everything and create change through punishment. A lot of that comes with growing up in a survival mindset, and that's kind of something that is hard to unlearn. So this took me years to even realize that I was doing this to myself. So if you are someone that this sounds like throughout this podcast, if this sounds like you, I hope that you take everything that I'm saying and just try to be kinder to yourself. Because me, I was not always the kindest person. And even to this day, I still am not always my biggest fan. Sometimes I will be very hard on myself, but I can say that I've definitely changed that a lot. And I've quieted or I've silenced or lowered the amount of noise that was going on in my head. Yeah, I just was never really truly nice to myself. And when I wanted something for myself, I would put so much pressure and hate on myself in order to motivate me. Like, some people, they need toxic motivation, but that's not something that's always going to last and it's not sustainable. Like I was saying, for the example in the gym, it's like a lot of people on their fitness journey will struggle with this a lot. Is the food guilt and feeling like if you have that cookie or if you have that slice of pizza, then it ruined everything that you did before. So why continue moving forward? You might as well keep eating the junk food instead of just saying, you know what, my body wanted this. I deserve to have this. And just having this pizza or having this cookie is not detrimental to my journey. I can still have a successful journey, but it's all about having grace for yourself and not being so harsh on yourself for every little thing. Like, another thing I can think of is productivity guilt. That is something that I have dealt with and I still deal with quite frequently, honestly, because I don't know about you guys, but for so long, I felt so anxious when I was just relaxing. And, I might have done, say I had a to do list of 10 things and I did two of them. I would be so focused on the other eight that I didn't get to that I wouldn't even take a moment to realize the little two that I completed on my to do list. Instead, my brain would be like, oh, you're a loser. Why are you resting? You still have eight things to do on your to do list. But that is our problem, is that we're always rushing life. And I feel like a part of that is just thinking that you're running out of time because we'll compare ourselves to other people. But nobody in life is running out of time because everybody's timeline is different. And so a, a huge part of that, I think, was feeling guilty for relaxing because I didn't finish everything. And other people might have finished these certain things that I'm chasing faster than me. But if you just kind of take some time to sit with yourself and allow yourself the rest, then I think with time you kind of learn that by relaxing, that guilt will kind of go away. So I literally have to sit and force myself to sit down. And even just multitasking a million things, maybe a part of that is some ADHD or anxiety or whatever. But part of that is really practicing and showing your nervous system that you have to slow down, because you can't, a whole part of the hustle is relaxing. You can't always give from an empty cup. You have to take a moment to pause and refill the cup. A lot of people think that shame is equivalent to discipline. And if you shame yourself enough, you'll stay disciplined enough. But half the time, that doesn't even work. And that's why people who are on a fitness journey, you might do so good, and then one day you have that cookie and you're going to shame yourself so much, but that will lead you to the binging later on. And that's why you have to have that balance of, like I was saying earlier, you can have the cookie and it's not going to ruin your goals. And that one moment of you having a cookie, it's not taking away from all of the other things. The two things that you completed out of 10 on the to-do list, you should focus more on the two that you did complete instead of the eight that you didn't. Focus on the entire week where you had a good week on your fitness journey instead of the one cookie that you had because you wanted a cookie. You're human. I think that over time, just trying to be more mindful of that, I've learned that you can still experience softness and growth simultaneously. They don't have to be separate. You can grow and experience hard times and, still provide that softness and grace for yourself at the same time. When you grow up in chaos or emotionally stressful environments, you just kind of learn that, your nervous system kind of learns that chaos is safety. And that is something that is extremely hard to unlearn. When your nervous system learns that pressure and chaos is safety, then your brain starts believing things like, if I stay on top of everything, if I overthink everything, if I criticize myself first before other people get the chance to, then maybe I can save myself or brace myself for criticism that you don't even know is going to come your way. Just trying to prevent pain from yourself by bracing for the worst, it's almost like making yourself suffer twice, because now you're nervous and you're putting all the stress on yourself and trying to prevent pain so much that you're creating pain for pain that might not even come your way. Like me, even starting this podcast, I was being so harsh on myself. Like, nobody's going to care what I have to say. No one's going to agree or even want to listen to my little podcast. But I will never know if I don't try it. Because if I'm going to criticize myself so much to the point where I'm going to hinder myself, then how will I know if people will like it or not if I never even tried? I'm over here trying to prevent pain so much that I'm creating pain for myself because I'm not doing the things that I wanted to do. I could have been had this podcast somewhere, but everything needed to happen the way that it did so that I could learn that those mindsets don't always get you as far as you think they will. And it just takes time and patience and allowing yourself the grace to even, do these things. Because we're all only human. We've only been here once. Nobody has all the answers. It's okay to not have everything figured out. And you don't have to be so harsh on yourself because you don't have everything figured out. Honestly, I don't think that a lot of people truly understand just how much your childhood can affect you into adulthood, because I grew up in a place where it was just always chaos, and I always had to be kind of one step ahead and walking on eggshells so that I could avoid certain situations. And now as an adult, I find myself doing that in things like my goals or my dreams, and that is not a good mindset to have. Like, you can't let fear stop you from doing things, because what you might be fearful of might not even happen. Like, all I could say is that when I first started talking on my little TikToks, and I still struggle with talking like on there. It's a little scary, I'm not gonna lie. But I wasn't posting them because I was afraid that people were gonna make fun of me or people weren't gonna like what I had to say. And every time I've posted one of those videos, those are the videos that get the most engagement, the most comments, the most interaction in general, because I'm being authentic and I'm being myself and I'm just showing up whether people are going to like it or not. And some people might not like it, but some people will. And you can't focus on the negativity, even though when you grew up in a hyper vigilant state, that could be something that is hard to unlearn. But with time, you'll get there, because look at me now. I'm doing this. I'm sitting here filming this. And that is the hardest part. I'm not going to lie. Setting it up, packing everything, committing to it. And even though I'm nervous and scared, I'm still doing it. And that's really what it is with life. You just have to be scared and show up. And whether people like you or not, there's always going to be one person that doesn't like you, because there's always a hater. And you just kind of have to like let it go, because at the end of the day, I'm going to post this and some people are going to, this might resonate with some people and it might not. But the more I keep talking and the more I keep showing up, the more I'll be able to find my little group of people who do make me feel seen. And hopefully with the things I talk about, hopefully I can make someone feel seen as well. But I would never know if I didn't sit down here and just try. I put so much research into this podcast that I'm starting it 3 years later. I guarantee you, I don't even know, I don't remember half of the things that I was researching. I was just stalling at this point. You can't just stall your way and survive your way through life. These things have just kind of really affected everything that I want for myself out of life, because I didn't even think that I could sit here and do these videos. Like, me, even 5 years ago, if she was in here sitting with us, she would be shocked, because even just getting my thoughts out into the world is something that I'm still learning how to do. So if these first few episodes are a little like all over the place, just know that they're gonna get better. And just like everything else in life, everything gets better. But yeah, it really does affect all of my goals in life, like my fitness goals, my productivity, even with my social medias. Like, I have been so all or nothing and so harsh on myself and so strict on myself that all those habits were not getting me anywhere. And I didn't start getting anywhere until I started being more gentle on myself. Like, just knowing that even though I'm scared right now, I can still show up and sit here and talk to the camera and nothing is going to happen to me. Or I can be on my fitness journey and still want a scoop of ice cream. Being so strict and harsh on myself that I was denying myself all of these things that I enjoyed, because I was thinking that it was going to ruin everything. And that's that all or nothing mindset. It's like, you can enjoy life and you can have bad days, but that doesn't take away from all of the good days. Like, me, especially with my fitness journey lately, I have really been trying to be more gentle with myself, because it's not easy to do. Like, especially with the world of social media, when you see everybody, all the other fitness influencers, it's hard to be soft on yourself when you have all of these examples around you and you're rushing yourself to get there too. But all of those people, they had to start somewhere at some point. They all had to take it one day at a time, and I'm sure that they all compared themselves to everybody too. But you have to just really sit with yourself and focus with yourself and give yourself grace and know that you're not where you want to be right now, but you're not going to get where you want to be by being mean to yourself. And you're not going to get where you want to be by bullying yourself into change. The only way to really create genuine, consistent change is by being kind to yourself and giving yourself the grace that you deserve, because everybody's only human and we've all only lived through this life one time. Like, nobody has all the answers to everything. And once you get that out of your head, I feel like life will be a lot gentler on you, because that once I got that in my head, life became a whole lot easier for me. And that's why I'm sitting in this chair right now talking into this microphone, because I realized that even though I was scared, I could still show up. And what's the worst that's gonna happen? I get 0 views. Like, at least I tried. Basically, all I'm trying to say is that if you want change, you're not gonna get it by bullying yourself into change. The only way you're gonna ever see change is if you give yourself some grace and realize that even if today isn't perfect and today things didn't change overnight, you're gonna show up again tomorrow and try again. And if you have a bad day tomorrow, then you're gonna do it again the next day. But giving up on yourself because you're constantly bullying yourself and bringing yourself down, I promise you, is not getting you anywhere, because that's what was happening to me. And that's why I didn't start my podcast for 3 years. That's why it took me 3 years to sit down in this chair and talk to this microphone. The way that I feel like I started viewing it is that you can create change for yourself. You have to do it in a way that serves you and uplifts you. Like, you have to want change because you know that you deserve everything that you want. If you want to be the skinny BBL bad bitch, then you can be that. But bullying yourself into being that isn't gonna work. If you just know this is what I deserve and I love myself so much, I'm gonna give myself everything that I deserve, that's how you have to push yourself for change. And I don't remember where I heard this, but somebody worded it in a way that you have to be devoted to yourself. And part of that is having grace and knowing that you're not going to be perfect every single day, because there's literally no such thing as perfection. And once you get that out of your head too, life will be a piece of cake. But not really, because life is going to be hard. And there's going to be bad days, and there's going to be days where you want to lay in bed all day and do nothing. And that's okay. You can do that. And then the next day you got to get up and know that just because you wanted to sit in bed yesterday doesn't mean that everything else is destroyed and now you got to start over. That's why this little healing journey that I'm on, and that I've been on for a long time, has been so up and down, because I've been at war with myself for basically my entire life. Like, just bullying myself into change and trying to be better instead of knowing I deserve better. And so I'm going to do anything that I can to give it to myself. Yeah, I just didn't want my entire existence to feel like self-improvement boot camp. I want to actually live my life instead of surviving it. And half the battle of that is stop bullying yourself into change and be so devoted and loving to yourself that you're going to do whatever you need to do to create that change, because you know you deserve nothing less. Like, now peace to me is kind of looking like just waking up every day and understanding that I might not be where I want to be yet, but I know I'm going to get there one day because I believe in myself that much. And the only way I really learned that was just by showing up every time. Like, every time I went to the gym, every time I went on a solo date, every time I went into a room alone and I was afraid to do it, every time I learned afterwards that all those things that my brain was trying to tell me and scare me out of doing it weren't as scary in the first place. And every time I came out a little less nervous. So when I would go again, I felt a little less nervous because I knew the last time I tried, nothing happened to me. And part of that too was finding hobbies that made it less scary to go do alone. Like, one of my favorite things to do right now actually is roller skating, and the one with the little four wheels. And that's something that I used to do when I was younger, but I kind of just gave up on it. And now as an adult, I've been trying to get back into it because that's a great way to do something alone. Like, something that I'm so interested in that when nobody else wants to come with me, I'm still gonna go do it. Whether it's me or a group, I'm still gonna be in there skating because I want to improve with that. And the first time, I was so scared that my legs were literally shaking on the little derby track, whatever it's called. But now, the more I go, the less scared I get every time. And that's really just what it's about, is going every single time, showing up even when you're scared, and getting it done. Because if you don't do it, who's gonna do it? Another thing was dancing. Like, this is the perfect example because I wanted to dance since I was a little tiny little baby. Like, growing up on Disney Channel and all of that and all the Disney teen idol stars, I really wanted to be a singer, dancer, actress, supermodel, music video star, everything. And I was so mean to myself up until like 2 months ago. And I would be like, I don't know how to move. I can't dance right. Like, people are going to make fun of me. And one day I just was like, you know what, girl, shut up. And I just went and I did it because why did I wait 26 years of my life to go and do something that I wanted to do since I was a little kid? Because I was bullying myself and thinking that I wasn't capable of doing these things. So I just signed up for the class. I finally did it, got over my nerves. Not really, because I was terrified the whole entire time. But the fact of the matter is that I still went and I showed up horrified. But I had so much fun. And after I had so much fun, I signed up for another one and I went again. And even though I've only gone to two, it's just that I was so scared. I missed out on 26 years of dancing because I was so mean to myself and afraid that I wasn't capable. But once I started being softer to myself and, started off smaller with things like solo dates and the roller skating, then I worked my way up to the dance classes. And all of that was because I was softer to myself. And instead of thinking, oh my God, everyone is going to bully me, everyone is going to make fun of me, I'm not the only person who is in a beginner dance class. It's a beginner dance class for a reason. There's a bunch of beginners in there. And all those people, they're there because they want to have fun. They want to learn how to dance. They're not going there to go make fun of Destiny trying out a beginner dance class just like them. Like, everybody is worried about themselves. And that's something that I'm still trying to teach myself, but something that took me a long time to really just get even in my head in the first place is that everybody in life is worried about themselves. Nobody cares about you. Sorry. Not like that, but people don't care about you as much as you think that they do. Because even the way that a lot of us, when we're in life, we're constantly thinking about what's going around us. Like, what are people thinking? What's so-and-so going to think of me? But in reality, they're thinking those same things about the people around them as well. So once you get that out of your head, just know that people are self-centered. People really care about them, and they're not worried about you. The people that were in that dance class a month ago, I guarantee you not one of them remembers me not being the best dancer in the room. They are worried about going again and doing it again because they had a good time. They weren't worried about Destiny fumbling and not being able to keep up. I think overall what I'm getting at is that I've finally learned how to stop surviving and getting through the day, and I started just showing up for myself more and actually enjoying life instead of being afraid of every little thing, or who's going to bully me, or who's going to say this next. Like, you can't think that everybody is inherently bad and everyone is inherently mean. And you'll never know unless you try. And if people are hating on you, that just goes to show you they have nothing going on for themselves. If you are someone who is just free and living your life, you don't have time to be wondering about what Joe and Sally are doing on the sidelines, and if they fell during their dance class, or if they, you should be more worried about you. If someone's hating, they have nothing going on. And genuinely, most of the time, I realize that people who hate on you is because they themselves are kind of jealous and bitter in a way that they're unable to do the things that they see you doing. And that's really what it is. People hate on people because they're too afraid to do the things that they see others doing. But maybe if you were worried about getting it done yourself, you wouldn't have time to be mad that someone else is doing it first, Overall, I think that we all should just crave peace and discipline and softness in life. But I think that we should all crave these things out of love instead of shame and hate. And that's what I'm really getting at, is that you just can't hate yourself into change. It never works. But if you're just soft and you give yourself grace 99% of the time, you're going to keep showing up, because the only person's opinion that really matters in life is your own. You shouldn't go to the gym because you hate the way you look. You should go to the gym because you love yourself and you know that you deserve to feel healthy and you deserve to be strong. Even eating food is not punishment. You shouldn't starve or have to feel like you can't eat what you want to eat. You should be able to eat better because you are thinking about future you, and you love future you so much. You want her to be healthy, him or her to be healthy. And when you use shame for fuel, it's a lot harder to stay consistent. I'm gonna keep talking about my fitness journey. When I first started my fitness journey, I was always the little chubby girl, but I'm an island girl. Like, I'm just naturally a thicker person. Like, yes, I still have goals that I want, but growing up around a bunch of people who didn't look like me made a part of that hard too. And so just as a little kid, I was always shaming myself into being skinny to be like everybody around me. And I feel like once my mom died too, that made it a lot harder, because at that point I had all of this pent up energy and grief that I needed to put it somewhere, and the gym was the place for me to do that. Over time, in dealing with the grief of my mom, I became a lot more gentle with myself because I didn't have anybody to do that for me. So I also didn't want to continue on with the generational stuff that was going on in my family. So I desperately needed to learn how to be softer with myself. And once I started doing that, I noticed that my weight was dropping way faster. Even when I first got into the gym, it really grew my confidence because I was just showing up for myself time and time and time again. And even when I was failing, I was still showing up because I knew deep down, even if it was still twisted in my mind, deep down I knew that I did deserve better this whole time. And the only way I was going to get that is if I gave it to myself. And you really just have to slow down and just show yourself more compassion. And it's really annoying because people will say that all the time, but it's the truth. That's why a lot of people say it. I've just been noticing that the less I spend hating myself and the less I spend criticizing and stressing about everything that I do, the easier life has become for me. My life didn't change, and I'm still changing my life because I'm still learning this, but my life didn't change because I finally hated myself enough to change. It changed because I started actually caring for myself in a much more kinder way. Honestly, I think that really is what A Date with Destiny is going to be about. I'm still learning so much about myself because when my mom passed, a huge chunk of my early 20s was trying to survive through that. And now I'm at a point where I feel like I don't have to survive anymore, and I can create a life that I've always wanted and have always deserved, but was just too mean to myself to finally see that. I think that this podcast is going to be great because it's just going to be me documenting life and talking about real things like this. So yeah, don't ever come here thinking I have all the answers, because I definitely don't. I'm still learning life and trying to figure it out one day at a time, but with more compassion and just being kinder to myself. And this whole thing is going to be about finding safety within and knowing that you can give yourself anything that you want in life out of love, because you know you deserve everything, and you're going to make sure that you give it to yourself instead of trying to change yourself out of shame and hate, because that's not going to get you anywhere. And honestly, I'm very much so excited for this podcast because honestly, like I said earlier, I would never thought that I would be sitting here talking to a camera and posting it later. My goal or my hope is that I can help other people feel less alone with the things that I talk about, and just, I guess, hopefully make someone feel seen, and finally make myself feel seen and heard. And I just really want a community of people who are trying to always better themselves and just elevate. But elevate because you know that you're thinking of future you all the time, and doing it out of love and patience, and unlearning all of the harsh, not useful habits, because before we were surviving and now we're trying to thrive. So we can't do that if we're stuck in these survival ways. So here we're going to unlearn all of those survival habits, and we're going to find safety within ourselves, and we're going to do it together, because maybe someone will have a good point to add. And if anybody wants to keep the convo going, please do, because like I said, I want to build a community of people just genuinely trying to give themselves the lives that they deserve, and just being kinder on yourselves and finding safety within, because life is hard enough and we don't need any more cruelty in it, especially not towards ourselves. Instead of cringing about the past version of me, I'm gonna love her and know that she was where she was, and she was doing the best that she could with everything, all the cards that she was dealt. Even with all of those cards that she was dealt, she made it here into this damn chair today. I'm really learning that feeling calm and having peace is a skill. It takes time to feel these things. Joy is something that you have to be intentional about. You can't just wake up and suddenly be happy. You know, you have to keep fighting for yourself and showing up for yourself and just doing the best that you can with what you have, and understanding that with time that skill is gonna grow. I guess I just really want this podcast to be something special, like something where people realize that you can go through the most horrible, horrendous things in life, and you can still have a beautiful life on the other side. Like, you can't have a rainbow without the rain, girl. And I know that's corny, but it's really true. Like, bad things are gonna happen. They're gonna keep happening. But it's a matter of what you do with those things that happen to you. And instead of turning it into something horrible and sitting in it and wallowing in it, it's about knowing that those bad things can happen, but you can still see the rainbow on the other side. So if you're watching this and you're someone who has just been stuck in a cycle of shame, or stuck in just a survival mindset, I just want to remind you that you don't have to bully yourself into believing that you're worthy of a beautiful life, because you've always been worthy of that. That's always been something that you deserved. Anyways, I'm running out of time. I only got 9 minutes left in this session, so I gotta start packing up. But that's really all for today's date with Destiny, and I'm so excited that you guys are even watching this. And if you did watch the whole entire thing, I would love to know what you thought, or if you had anything to add. Because like I said, this is a community that we're building. We need like-minded people over here. So if you have anything to say, I would love to hear it. But yeah, I'll talk to you guys in the next episode. And you guys can follow me on my socials. This is A Date with Destiny, the podcast. But I have an Instagram and a TikTok. A Date with Destiny XO. I'm gonna put it in the description. But yes, thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.